Good morning. As you have heard, I am a mathematician. So I would like to ask you, who of you like mathematics? Please raise your hands. I'm trying to see with the light. Okay, so who of you do not like mathematics? Not the same people, right? So it's a mixed response. So I would like to say, to those of you that do not like mathematics, you are not alone. There are millions of people that suffer from mathematics phobia. And actually, psychologists, some of them at least, go as far as saying that math phobia is one of the official anxiety disorders. There is research that even says that mathematical anxiety makes your brain hurt. And let's not go too far. I am a mathematician teaching mathematics to university students that are not mathematicians, and many of them really do not like math. So you can understand how this is a problem for me. I want them to do well. I want them to realize their potential. I want to be a good teacher. And I can't do it if they're afraid of it. So I need to solve this problem. Also, I go to parties. People ask me, what do you do for a living? I say, I'm a mathematician. I get one of these three responses. One is, you must be really clever. I still don't know how to appropriately answer that. The second one, very infrequent, I'm telling you, is I love mathematics. I'm excited then. And then the most frequent one is I hate mathematics, and usually comes with a look of disgust. And you can understand how conversation goes downhill from there. So, why is math a pain? Why should it be such a pain? Is it our bad teachers that were afraid or bored of mathematics themselves? Or are parents afraid of math, generating a chain of fear? What about the marketing of mathematics? If you think of the mathematicians in the films, if you haven't watched any, I'm going to tell you, they are these weird people locked up in rooms, handling some weird symbols, coming up with some solutions almost nobody else in the world understands. And by the way, they are all men. So, marketing of mathematics. What about the boring books? Thinking back on my books when I was at school, I really don't understand how I chose to do mathematics. Books are really boring. Small font size, no colors, no images. In geometry books, of all, this is a geometry book, no image, no color, no diagram. So, why am I here today? Okay, I'm a mathematician, right? So I would like to challenge you. I would like to make you think that mathematics is not what you thought up to now. Mathematics is actually really useful, and mathematics is everywhere. And perhaps I will manage to convince you that sometimes mathematics can be fun. So how do we relate mathematics to real life? We have a great tool, it's called mathematical modeling. And no, it's not mathematicians walking down the catwalk. It's actually the process of observing carefully a life situation, anything you have around you, and then you translate it into mathematics. You use the mathematical symbols, the language of mathematics, to translate it into mathematics. Then you solve these mathematics, and you can get a solution, and that solution, you compare it back to your observations. And if observations and your solution does not agree, it means you have not created a very good model, so you have to go back and improve, and now you go the circle, until you manage to create a good model. And once you have that, then you have a very powerful tool, because you can use a mathematical model to predict the future. Newton was the pioneer of mathematical modeling, actually. He had observed that the planets and other bodies in the sky were moving in circles and ellipses, and he managed to put down with mathematics two laws. One is the law of motion, and the other one is the law of universal gravitation, or how I would like to call it, the law of universal attraction. Every body in the universe attracts each other due to gravity. So his mathematical model was a huge success back in the 17th century, and it still holds today, and allows us to predict the motion of every object in the universe. sorry. So some of these bodies now sometimes hit the Earth. For example, the meteorite that fell in Russia on the 15th of February, injuring more than 1,000 people. And I would like to show you a video now, and please listen carefully. So, you have listened carefully, right? So, it was impossible not to listen, I know. So, you heard some explosive sounds. These explosive sounds are sonic booms, and they were the sonic booms that caused the destruction, not the actual landing of the meteorite, even though it was 10,000 tons in weight. What is a sonic boom? It is a sound created by an object traveling faster than sound. And why am I interested in this? Well, actually, it was the subject of my PhD. The University of Oxford, where I was doing the PhD, was part of a collaboration of mathematicians, physicists, and engineers all over Europe, trying to investigate questions about the next generation of supersonic aircraft after Concorde stopped flying in 2003. So we had to investigate two very important questions: how loud these sonic booms are, and where are they going to land? We don't want people to listen to sonic booms. So, and we talk about the Mach number. What is the Mach number? The Mach number is how many times faster you go than sound. The sound travels at 1,200 kilometers per hour. So Concorde was traveling twice that at Mach 2. And the meteorite was traveling at Mach 50. This is actually one of the last estimations from last week from the scientists investigating the phenomenon. And it had managed to create 30 to 40 times the explosion of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima in the Second World War. So, just to explain a bit more about sonic boom. Imagine a source of sound, like me, for example, not moving when I'm not moving, and this creates waves going away from you. It's like throwing a stone in a pond. So when the source moves, then the object moves with speed slower than the speed of sound. You still generate these waves, but you're still behind your waves. When the object crosses the sound barrier, it managed to overtake these waves and concentrate all the annoyance from these waves in the air in a conical region behind the object called the Mach cone. And you can see all of this in pictures. Okay, maybe some people found this a bit boring, I don't know, because probably most of the people didn't really know about sonic booms before coming, but I'm sure that everyone in this room has experienced love. And I became fascinated with the mathematical modeling of human relationships. Many years back, there was a famous Oxford professor, Professor Murray, and he is investigating, I went to his talk, he presented mathematical modeling for how to predict whether a couple will divorce or not. So I was really surprised then, but then I realized that there is a long body of research about this. And actually, let's build together a simple model about the ultimate romantic couple, Romeo and Juliet. So, the known scenario. We have Romeo, we have Juliet, they meet each other, they get attracted to each other, and the more attention one shows to the other, the positive feelings, in the end, we know from experience that their love will keep growing, right? So how can we show this with a mathematical model? The change in Romeo's love, don't be scared and panicky with this DDT, just a change with respect to time. And I use a symbol, R, to indicate Romeo's love. And this is driven equal to Juliet's love, J. And similarly, a very similar equation for Juliet. She's mirroring Romeo. These are differential equations for those that know them, but don't panic, the rest of you. So, and long and behold, we find that their love, as we expect, grows indefinitely, forever. But now what if Romeo behaves like a typical man? The more attention you give to him, the more indifferent he becomes. So, mathematics can have, again, the answer. You just put the minus sign there, and then Romeo's love is driven negatively by Juliet's love. And poor Juliet still mirrors Romeo, and she's positively responding to positive feelings and negatively to negative feelings. And we intuitively know that we are going to get something really different. And what is that? It's an eternal cycle of love and hate, probably leading to an on and off relationship. To the men in the audience, let's say you meet a beautiful woman and you want to ask her out. You want to assess your chances. How you're going to assess your chances? You do this in your brain, you don't realize it, but I would like to show that probably there is a formula behind your calculations on whether you're going to decide to ask her out or not. So who thinks wit is important for when a woman is asking, when a man asks out a woman? Who thinks how witty you are is important? I'm asking you, actually. Not everybody. I thought everybody. OK. So this is an art of mathematical modeling. Some people think something is important, some that is not. So wit, I would say, is important, so I call it W. What about confidence? We add confidence. What about your attractiveness? Your looks are really important, face it. And actually, I would say doubly important to wit and confidence. What about her looks? Yeah, we really know that a woman's looks are really important in these situations, right? So, and the more attractive she is, the less your chances. So I have to divide with her attractiveness. And I put a 3 there because her looks are more important than your looks. I'm still referring to the men. So I don't know whether that's good or not, but I guess it's reality. So the amount of current relationship, is she single, is she engaged, is she married? So the more engaged she is somewhere else, the less chances you have, so you have to subtract from your chances. And actually, this is not my formula. There is a very cool BBC show called The Foolproof Equations for a Perfect Life. You can go and see this formula put in action in bars. But as a researcher and a modeler myself, I was thinking, how can I adapt this to Cyprus? What is missing from there, from this model? And actually, if you see these 5 parameters with confidence, your looks, her amount of engagement elsewhere, there is no indication of wealth, status in the society, your job. And I will go as far as saying that your car is going to increase your chances. So the more expensive car you have is affecting your chances positively. What about online dating, months of online dating? You have tens of dating sites catering to every taste. And actually, there are millions of people looking for love online. And the online dating industry, if you believe it or not, is bigger than the porn industry. Didn't believe that when I read it. So, but how do you know that the person at the other end of the screen is going to be your Mr. or Mrs. Right, or whether you're going to feel heartbroken and frustrated? Well, there is a team of very intelligent mathematicians from Harvard, and they have made a business out of that. They have created OkCupid, and they advertise that they use math to get you on dates. How do they do that? Well, they make you answer lots of questions, and then they found a sophisticated mathematical way to measure the similarities between 2 people. They get a match score. The higher the match score, the more suited you are for each other. And I will finish my talk about mathematics with a mystical, magical number I got fascinated with when I was reading Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. Those of you that have read it, you know that this golden ratio is everywhere. What is it? It's simply the number 1.618. And it's really simple to explain. say you have a stick, you split it in two parts, you take the larger part and the smaller part, approximately 2/3 to 1/3. The ratio of the two lengths is a golden ratio, and the point where they meet is the golden section. And people were wondering why Mona Lisa had this mystique. And they analyzed the Mona Lisa, and they found that it's having golden shapes all over here. What are golden shapes? Well, they're triangles, and they are pentagons and decagons. And what is amazing is that the golden decagon fits almost perfectly to the section of DNA, the code of life. And it is these golden sections that Dr. Margot, a plastic surgeon obsessed with facial beauty after his mother was involved in a bad accident, he took these golden shapes and he created the perfect mask. And this perfect mask tells you how beautiful you are, to put it simply. And you can go to the website and you can put famous people. I think it's squeezed, but it should be more different dimensions. So you put Jessica Alba's picture, for example, and you find how much it matches this mask. And if you are ready to challenge what your mother was telling you all these years, you can go and put your photo in and see how beautiful you are. And the golden section is everywhere. It's in the dimensions of our body parts. It's in nature and in art, the Parthenon, for example. So I would like to finish my talk with the following. There are 6,900 languages in the world, but only one language of mathematics. And it unites people across countries and cultures. It can explain almost everything from the sound of aeroplanes to how we make decisions, to how we love, all the way to what we find beautiful. So I would like to urge you, rethink maths. Look at it with a fresh look. Forgive your bad teachers and forget the bad books. Look at it with a fresh look. And to the fellow teachers out there, work on rebranding mathematics. Make it relevant, make it personal, make it fun. Thank you.